Hello and welcome back to your South King County real estate update. Today is March 4th, 2022, and my name is Sarah Eggleston with Stone Egg Realty at John L. Scott, and I'm here to deliver your local real estate news for the week. So I'll go ahead and get jumped on into the slides. So as I said before, today is March 4th, 2022, and let's find out what happened this week. This week, my husband and I, we've been in the process of moving into our home, and the home across the street had been for sale last month and went pending on Valentine's Day, which was our first night in our home. I did get to walk through this other property that was for sale, and it just closed yesterday. So a little bit of history. My husband and I purchased our property for $426,000. We went pending in July, closed on September 8th. And the property needed a lot of work. We've been renovating it ever since. And we just moved in last month, less than a month ago. So it was a really exciting process, a little bit longer than we thought it would be as far as the renovation was concerned. But we put probably $80K into it, and the numbers aren't finalized yet. I will be on here to update you with final numbers. But the house across the street is not that much different than ours. It is a very similar layout. It also has an addition, and square footage of the home is slightly larger, but the lot size on our home is slightly larger. This home is just closed for $700K. So ours, granted, it needed a lot of work, but we paid $426 for that less than a year ago, 6 months ago. And just this one example of the price increase in our area is, my mind was blown yesterday when I saw what that home sold for. I really, I couldn't believe it. So I just thought I'd share that little dialogue with you. I know home prices have been rising like crazy in the area, but that was just a little specific instance that I saw that was just shocking. But I'll go ahead and jump back on into these slides. So for the coronavirus news, we did have statewide rules change as far as the trajectory for mask mandates and all that. So mask mandates are going to be lifted on Saturday, March 12th, and private businesses and homeowners can choose to require masks inside their facility or home, but it is voluntary at this point as far as whether the people want to implement it in their place of business or in their home, or whether they don't care and can have mask-free faces. So it'll be more of a personal choice starting on March 12th. Brokers and clients must adhere to any restrictions that the seller has imposed on the property. So if the seller requests that masks be worn, wear your mask. Real estate firms may require employees, brokers, and visitors to wear a mask in the office, but that is a may. It's up to them. And business cards, normally real estate agents leave their business cards while showing a home. Throughout the coronavirus pandemic, that has been a thing that has been restricted. We're not supposed to leave our cards when showing or previewing a home. But starting March 12th, real estate agents will be required to leave their card in a home when they show it or preview it. So those are the main things related to real estate that will change on March 12th. This came out of the Puget Sound Business Journal. Home prices in the Puget Sound area could be headed for a correction. This is a question that I get a lot. When's the housing crash coming? Or is there going to be a housing crash? I get this question a lot. And the short answer is no. It's not going to be a crash. The supply and demand in the area, or in our whole country, really, the supply has been very small and the demand has been very large. So Those two things, basic economics, mean prices are going up. Rising interest rates are expected to put a damper on the double-digit home appreciation that we've seen over the last couple of years. And actually in Kitsap County, Bremerton, Silverdale area was called out in this. It was listed as one of the 5 markets in the nation most likely to see price stagnation or decline in 2022, because Bremerton, Silverdale area surged 17.2% year over year for January. And they're saying that the incomes in the area really can't support that type of home price growth. In Kitsap County, Bremerton, Silverdale area, there is a possibility of home prices decreasing ever so slightly. But overall, our nation, we have seen insane price appreciation because buyer demand has increased for the product. In the rest of the Puget Sound area, there has been even higher growths, but the difference between the price growth and the incomes in the area isn't there like it is in Bremerton. In Seattle, Bellevue, Everett, housing market went up approximately 23% compared to the year before. Tacoma saw a 19% year over year increase, and Olympia, Tumwater is up about 18%. Nationally, home prices hit a 45-year high, adjusted for the current dollar and everything, which were up about 19% compared to a year ago. In December and January, for sale inventory continued to be the lowest we have seen in a generation. Buyers have continued to bid prices up for the limited supply on the market. However, the rise in mortgage rates since January further eroded buyer affordability and is expected to slow price gains in the coming months. This is true. We are expecting mortgage rates to go up throughout the year. I'll get to that in a minute because there's a lot to unload there. In the vast majority of the markets, we will see a decrease in home appreciation. Like, we're not going to see 25% increase year over year over year over year over year. That's not sustainable. But in most markets, the price won't drop, but will appreciate much slower in the past couple of years. And Bellevue joins the big leagues. So this was an article that came out from a Seattle Times cartoonist. It's a little bit more of like an opinion piece kind of, or self-reflection, I guess, on Bellevue. But looking across the lake, a cluster of skyscrapers is evidence that the old Bellevue height limit is long forgotten. There are huge buildings in Bellevue. Prices there, home prices have soared past Manhattan and San Francisco and are on track to pass Sunnyvale, California, which is the last American city of 100,000 or more that is more expensive than Bellevue. So Bellevue will soon be the most expensive city in the nation of 100,000 or more population. That's crazy. And I realize that Bellevue is the east side and this is the South King County real estate update, but you can only imagine how that ripple effect comes through the south end here. People that work in Bellevue and can't afford to live in the priciest city in the nation will buy in Kent, Renton, Federal Way, and commute in. This is insane price growth in Bellevue, but the ripple effect is going to be really great for homeowners' equity moving forward. Because of all this price growth, homelessness in Bellevue has greatly increased. Unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of social and economic ramifications for this really quick shift in dynamic for the city. And really, like, you think of the most expensive cities to live in, San Francisco, Manhattan, they're all like, I don't know, have some allure, but Bellevue doesn't seem to have quite the same oomph that New York and San Francisco do. Yeah, we've got a good shopping mall and museum and some good restaurants, but I thought that this was pretty funny. Can you imagine Tony Bennett singing "I Left My Heart in Bellevue" or Frank Sinatra belting out, "If I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. It's up to you, Bellevue, Washington." So I thought I just added that in for a little extra humor because I thought it was funny. But Dick's Drive-In, if you're in Bellevue, Dick's Drive-In is back there. So if you're looking for a cheap meal, head on in. And that brings us to our market stat minute. There were 728 new listings in the past 7 days in King County, 775 pendings, and 704 sold. So you can see all of our metrics did tick up ever so slightly. The pendings remained about the same, but solds and new listings did tick up over the past week. And if we break it down into our smaller markets, in Renton, we did have more new listings come on the market in the last 7 days than pending homes. So this is a shift from what we saw last week. Kent is about neck and neck, 34 to 35, pretty even, but Auburn and Federal Way, they have fewer new listings than pendings. That is, especially in Federal Way, is a shift from what we saw in the last couple of weeks, where it was the other way around, more new listings than pendings. So there's been a little bit of shift of where the action is happening in South King County. For Southeast King County, this is the update from our chairman and CEO at John L. Scott, J. Lennox Scott. For overall activity, we have 0.3 months supply. So if no new listings came to the market, we would be sold out in 0.3 months. So like a week and a half, maybe. You can see that the demand across the price points is very much not even. Under 350,000, there, I don't even understand how this stat is a possibility. 103% of listings went pending in the first 30 days. This is so insane. I don't even know how this stat happened. But if you head down to the 1.5 million plus, only about 50% of those homes are selling in the first 30 days. If we look at Southwest King County, definitely a little bit softer on the low end there and higher demand on the more luxury end of things there. So it's pretty different this month as far as what is happening on Southeast King County as opposed to Southwest King County, because one, it's like the low end is on fire and the other one, the high end, is relatively on fire. But this 500 to 500K to $1 million price point, yep, extreme frenzy in that price point category. For mortgage rates, last week, if you'll remember, we were at 3.92 for our 30-year mortgage. This week, we did tick back to 3.76. Chair Powell said on Wednesday that the quarter point increase is what to expect. There had been some debate whether they were going to do a quarter point or a half point increase on the 10-year Treasury, but it looks like with what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, that is causing enough instability in our markets that they're only going to raise it a quarter point, despite the fact that we have had the highest inflation in 4 decades. If we bring it to our daily rate today, 3.96, we had really good days on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday was not so good for mortgage rates, and then Thursday kind of stabilized, but right now we're at 3.96 for our weekly average mortgage rate. And my spring 2022 buyer and seller guides just came out. So if you are thinking about buying or selling in spring of this year, please let me know so I can provide you with a copy of one of these buyer or seller guides. These have great information that is very relevant to today's market, talks about pricing and how to find a home and down payments and everything that you'll need to kind of get an idea of how your house hunt or sale is going to go in this spring. So if you would like a copy of this, please let me know. I'd be happy to send you one. I can email it over. So just give me your email address and I'll send it your way. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My phone number and email address are on the screen there. I would love to have a conversation with you about the real estate market in your specific area, or if you're thinking about moving to another area, we could talk about that too. But I would love to just have that conversation and get engaged with you to talk about real estate, because there's a lot of really exciting stuff going on right now. So things are changing super fast. And I will make sure to be back here at 3 p.m. next week with your South King County real estate update, so you can have the most recent real estate news for your area. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. Have a good one.